Hey, good morning, everybody. Tricia Turner here with another episode of Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. I have a dear friend of mine with me this morning. This is Gogo. Of course, most of you probably know her, but if you don't, you need to, because she is the social media queen. I met Gogo when I joined EXP, and we were instant friends. We have a great time together. She is hilarious. Absolutely love her spirit and her no filter a lot of times. It's amazing. So Gogo, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Tell everybody where you are in the United States. Of course, I've said that you're with EXP, but kind of give us a little bit of backstory and what brought you to EXP, please.
Like how back? Like what brought me
back
to
do
the
you want to
United
go?
States? Okay, so I live in Pinckney, Michigan. You won't even find it on the map, like a tiny little village. It's called the village of Pinckney. My husband is from here. I originally came in 2003 to the US as an au pair. I live in nanny. And I met my husband right away. We got, this is a funny story. So I met him on a Tuesday. I met his parents and we had the first date on a Saturday, met his parents on a Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
2 months later, I was moved in. 2 months later, we were married.
Wow.
So fast. Fast, yeah. So it's been 17 years now. I'd rather not do this quarantine with anyone else on this earth. So if I have to be quarantined up in between four walls with someone, I'll pick him. We get along really well. Through the years, he became my best friend. You don't know what love is until, in my opinion, until years go by and you realize why you love that person.
Oh yeah.
And so that's on the family side. We have two boys. They are 10 and 12. They are trying to do their homework right now. This whole homeschooling thing is, oh, Lord help us.
You didn't know you were going to be a teacher, did you?
Oh, no, I barely speak English, people. Come on.
So when you came here, how was your English?
Oh, very broken. Like, I thought I spoke English until I arrived in New York, and this big black guy at the airport was talking to me, and I said, English, please, and he said, I'm speaking it. And I was like, oh. If I'm speaking English, then I'm clearly not speaking English because I can understand what you're saying. So it was many things. First, I didn't realize we were learning proper English, which is British English. So how do you do water? Like you pronounce things totally different.
Yeah.
That and then accent and slang. I didn't realize how many different accents there are in the US. And then the slang, usually a line from a movie, a line from a song that I wasn't familiar with. Even if I saw the movie, I saw it in Hungarian translated. So it just does, the jokes are not the same. My husband always says my jokes make zero sense in the US. I find them funny, where my Hungarian friends and my family, we are hunched over laughing. And he's like, yeah, I don't get it.
You're right.
So that was hard. Slang is still the hardest. Like last night I was talking to somebody from California and he said something via DM and I had to message him back and I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. And he goes, yeah, that's slang. Sorry. So what that means is this. I was like, oh, thanks for translating. Yeah. And I'm 17 years in the US?
Yes.
And there are still things that I'm like, I don't know what that means.
So you came to the US for like the American dream. Is that what it was? In search of that?
Yeah, so I grew up until 1989, I was 8 years old. It was communism, which means it's kind of like living in a shoebox with the lid on. Like you're cut off from the Western world. You don't get access to the movies, the songs, the news. Like you don't know what's going on outside of that box.
Wow.
And so when they killed Ceausescu and we became a democratic country in 89, my dad went first day. He went and bought a color television. He bought a VCR player, and he came home with 2 VCRs, and it was 48 Hours by Eddie Murphy.
Oh my gosh!
I thought, like up until that moment, I'd never even seen a Black person. Like I didn't know they existed. Like it's truly cut off from the world. Like you don't know what else is going on besides your little area. And I just thought he was the funniest human being I have ever seen and heard in my life. And I remember as my 8-year-old mind correlating the two, that he's happy. He must be happy because of where he's at. So that's my first recollection of I'm going to wherever that man is at. Even, I guess at that moment, I didn't even knew America existed. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I'm going to America, but in my mind, I was going to wherever that man is at because he was so happy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought that movie would be like the driving force to get you to America? You know?
And when I tell people it's Eddie Murphy. They're like, oh, it's coming to America. I'm like, no. No, it's 48.
That would make more sense, you know?
That would make more sense, but I'm like, no, it's 48 hours. I just thought he was hilarious and happy and funny and just, I don't know, he looked like somebody that I would want to hang with.
So then you come here, and how long were you an au pair?
So only 6 months.
Okay.
So it was a year contract, but because I met Dwayne right away and we fell in love and we decided to get married, and my au pair career wasn't going very well. I don't know if the wife didn't really care having me in the home or how did it really go down on their end. But I think something along those lines. And so it wasn't very pleasant. They weren't necessarily making me feel like I'm a part of the family. And so about 6 months in, I decided to move out and move in with Dwayne. And that was pretty much it. So we got married and the rest is history. And then
what brought you into real estate? What made you think real estate's going to be my thing?
Yeah, so I did all kinds of jobs. I worked at a warehouse at a nice organization. I worked in a jewelry store. I was a waitress. I babysat. Like I pretty much did all kinds of jobs. Mm-hmm. I worked front desk with the company as a secretary, all of those things. And when I was working at NSF, I already had Kobe. He was 2 years old, and then Duke was just born. When Duke was born, we almost lost him. Like he got Giardia. He got very, very sick, and we got hospitalized. And that was right after the FMLA. So I had no vacation time left, no time left. So they had to fire me. So I can, go to the hospital with my child. We were in the hospital for a month, and I got fired as I was pushing my child into surgery. And I was like,
right.
That's not a problem I can deal with right now. So fine.
No.
I don't know what to tell you. And it was just that time. And then he got really, really sick, and I couldn't. And I remember watching your video. I watched your video about your son. So I know your pain, but I also know God doesn't give you what you can handle.
That's right.
And the child from up above, when he was still with God, chose me because God knew I could understand the disease and I would take care of him.
Yep.
And so anyway, that's my second child. My oldest since then became type 1 diabetic. So that's another.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If he gives you what you can handle, you must think I'm a badass.
I know. Yeah,
I am. So as we were in the hospital pushing him into surgery, I got fired, and I stayed home for 2 years ish. And I also realized at that time I'm not a stay-at-home mom type. Like I love my children, and I'll do anything for them. Even today, we'll drop them off, we pick them up. We are always there at every game. I mean, even when I travel, I try to schedule up my travel around their schedule, so I don't have to miss much.
Right.
Of course, I have to miss some stuff, but I don't want to have to miss the big stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I'm as much of a mom as I can for my sanity and theirs. I want to be a good mom.
Yes.
And so for that, I have to work. So I have to contribute. I have to put makeup on and leave the house and feel like I'm contributing to society. I do have to make money to value myself. I need to feel like I contribute as much as my husband does. Yeah. So we are equal in this marriage. And so then I was like, I need to go back to work. So I started waitressing at a local restaurant, which I never waitressed before. But I figured that would be a good thing. I mean, I can be home with them all day. When Dwayne comes home from work, I can go and do a little bit of, being out in society, make a little cash. I'm good, for clothes and Marshalls, spend stuff at Marshalls.
Sure.
And right around that time, my neighbor was the marketing director for Capital Title. And she said, you know what? I think you would make an awesome realtor. I already talked to a brokerage. Go talk to them. And I was like, I watch HGTV. Like, I can do that. That's easy. It was only what it's like on HGTV, isn't it?
Oh, I know. So many people have such a misconception until they get into our shoes and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea what y'all did all day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's our full-time realtor too. So now he feels my pain. He probably never gave me the credit or understood, what it's like until he's walking in my shoes now.
Yeah.
So I went and talked to that brokerage. They said they would pay for my school. They would even reimburse me for the school if I pass it and got hired in. So of course I went to school. I passed it right away. I got hired in. So I stayed with them for 6.5 years. They are called Real Estate One. They are or were the largest company, family owned in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
That's not a franchise. They have thousands of agents for a family-owned brokerage, so that was good. I was a baby. I could do whatever my little heart desired. I had a very good cut and a cap, so I really had no reason to ever leave from there.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, well, I've been recruited left and right all the time because I was a pretty good producer by that time. And KW got to me in 2018 with their profit share. So really nobody could touch my cap and cut. I had it so good. So I really had no reason. But at that point, I was only chasing commission.
Yep.
Until somebody opened my eyes and said, there are other ways to make money in real estate besides just commission. And I was like, what do you do? Because by that time, I hit my ceiling. Like there was not another house I could sell without taking time away from the family and time, like taking away from my sanity. I was attached to my phone constantly 24/7. I handle stress very well, but still you're attached to your phone.
Yeah.
I would work up until less than until my head hits the pillow. I wake up, drop the kids off, start all over again. And I figured, I'm like, in order to make more money at that point, I had to change something because I can't make more time. I can't make more of me. I could raise my my price range, but already at that time, where the local pricing was about $250, I was already in the low 400s. So I'm like, I can't do that unless I go into the gated community, the top 2%, and you know how that goes. Yeah, you make a commission, but 6 months from now,
right? Yeah,
that sells.
Yep.
So I didn't want to be the specialist of the luxury real estate market. And so I knew at this point I have to leverage. It's the only way I'm going to be able to make more money is to build a team. And I started that a couple of times. It doesn't really go well with my personality. I make people cry on a daily basis. And then they quit. And then I have to start over and train somebody else. And I realized it's not for me. I'm also not willing to change my ways. I mean, the reason of my success has to do a lot with my personality and attitude and mindset and all that. So I'm like, I'm not willing to change myself so somebody can handle me. Clearly, we are not a good fit. So I need to go work somewhere else. So we did that a couple of times. I say we because Christy she's my right hand. She's been with me all this time and she has me all figured out. When she needs to walk in my place, then she says, Gogo, shh. Zip it. I'm not listening. So she's awesome. So we went through that a couple of times and realized it's not for me, but I knew I need to grow.
Yeah.
I have to be able to figure this out without having to adjust my ways and adjust my personality. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go and get my broker license. So by this time I'm at KW, I'm making profit share, cute little profit share, and covered Starbucks for a year. And then I decided, I'm like, okay, if I ever run into a brick wall where I feel like the brand and my brand or the rules and my brand don't really match, I should have my broker's license.
Just in case.
I was halfway through my broker's license when I was invited to go have lunch with Mark. Now, just so you know, when I started at the KW office, the same week Kurt and Mark were leaving.
Okay.
So the top producing team at the KW office, I never met them. We pretty much just crossed each other, on the hallway. I never officially got introduced or anything, and I knew they went to EXP. So when they reached out to me, invited me for lunch, I was like, if this is about EXP, you're wasting your breath because I am not interested. At that time, I had 40 people blow up my phone, hijack lunches, hijack coffees, meetings. I don't like people that are not upfront. If you want to tell me about EXP, invite me for lunch and say, hey, I want to talk to you about EXP. But don't invite me for lunch to talk real estate and then turn it into an EXP recruiting event because I was like, one more person talks to me about EXP. I'm going to punch him in the face. That's truly how I felt about the whole thing.
Oh, I know.
And then so I was upfront with them and I told them I'm not interested if this is about EXP. And then Mark said, it's not. You know something I don't know. You're really good with social media. I'm really good with team building and passive income. So why don't we meet? You teach me what I don't know. I'll teach you what you don't know. And I'm a sucker for information. Plus, I'm like, what do you mean I don't know? So I went for lunch. Plus, if Mark invites you for lunch, Mark Z is every 8 feet on the highway, you see his billboard. I'm like, when Mark invites you for lunch, you go.
I imagine so. He's really cool.
You go.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was a mixture of a lot of those things. And so I decided, I'm like, okay, I'll go for lunch. I mean, what can it hurt? And when I got there, I pretty much just looked at Kurt and I'm like, just go straight for the EXP pitch. Right out of your misery, just go
right to the pitch.
And so they did. And they explained me the model in a way where nobody else was able to prior. In the past, everybody was kind of pitching it of how they would benefit from my reach and my connections, and not in a way of like, what would that mean to me?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where Kurt and Mark were different. They were able to show me numbers. They were able to explain the model in a way that it makes sense of what it would mean for me. How would that change my life? And then they also said you can't unsee what you saw.
Yep.
You can't unsee it.
No.
The first time when it finally clicks and makes sense, because I had it 40 other times presented to me.
Yep.
I didn't have my listening ears.
No, you weren't open-minded.
So finally, I guess I had my open mind, and I saw the numbers, and I was like, huh. I also have the personality when I look at people, and I'm like, you can do it, I can do it. You're my host.
Yep. And you, at that time, you had grown your business because then you had social media presence. You know, you had found this niche that you're just amazing at. And that came from your own just organic learning it all on your own.
Yeah. So the part we skipped is when I finally got my real estate license again. I was my husband had a full-time job, but we literally, between the two of us, didn't have $7 extra to our name. I mean, we covered the bills and we had groceries. And the mortgage was paid and the car payments were paid. Like, I drove a minivan.
Yeah, I cannot picture that. Do you still have a minivan?
No, but I miss it though. I did like my minivan. I loved it driving with the doors open.
I never drove one of those. I was like, I will never drive a minivan.
Really? Oh, I'm 5'2", so when I got pregnant, I could really not lift those car seats up high enough to put them in the car. So if you open the door, you kind of have to like lift it up really high so you can like click it in, and I couldn't. My dog was huge on top of it. Like they doubled their weight in the 2-week doctor's appointment. They were 16. What was it? They were 16 pounds at 2 weeks. So I'm like, I couldn't get the car seat. Like, and I was 5'2". Like I could not click them in the car.
No.
I needed a minivan that the door opens wide so I can lift it up like this with 2 hands and put them in. So that's how I came about driving a minivan.
So what inspired you to figure out that social media was going to be your way to success? What prompted that?
I was kind of forced into it. I didn't have any other options. Like I remember, like I'm like that bad 3-year-old. Like whenever I want something, I'm like, why? But why? Like I go and talk to everybody. So I went into the office at Real Estate One, and I went into every single top producer's office. And then I asked them question, how do you guys do this? Where do you get your leads? What do you spend on marketing? I go into the first office, and they're like, well, so our marketing budget is $8,000 a month. And I was like, I have $7. And that's gonna have to cover lunch too today. So, and then I went to the other office, and they were like, yeah, so we spend $4,000 a month on Zillow leads, and that gives us 150 leads, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, I just want to make $4,000. Like I don't have $4,000 to spend. So very early on, I realized that, hold on a minute, you have to have money to make money. And that was probably the hardest lesson to learn, the longest that it took me to learn that. I'm still struggling with that one because I don't like to spend money.
No, you don't.
I try anything I can to do it for free. And so again, after interviewing all of them, I realized I don't have money. I don't have sphere of influence. I barely speak English. I'm not from around here. I don't have the cousins and the high school friends that are going to buy houses for me. And so I was like, I barely speak English. So I can't cold call. Like I had a very strong accent at the time. Like imagine now my accent 17 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was a very strong accent. So I was like, cold calling is not an option for me because people hang up thinking I'm,
right.
Them. And so it left me nothing but social media. So I was like, I start a Facebook page and I start posting everything left and right, everything I'm doing, what it takes to be a new agent, what I learned today, what I didn't know, what classes I'm going to, what stuff I see at open houses and, when I'm touring houses and things like that. And that's how it started first. I pretty much just showed the journey of becoming a realtor. And then because it was the journey of it and not just the last house and the newest listing and the last closing, more and more people started following, even if they didn't have an interest in real estate. They followed me because they had an interest in my progress of
right. They're nosy. They want to see what you're doing all day long. They're nosy. That's all. Straight up.
Yeah. And so
But it worked.
that's how it the madness started. I started the page, and then I pretty much did everything on the Facebook page. And then about 3 years in, I started getting to the point where I needed to vent a little bit. Like, you get those clients that are walking the park.
Oh, yes.
Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I need to release this. Like, I need to get this out of my body. If not, I'm gonna lose my
Yeah.
And I did not want to leave the industry, and I didn't want to lose it. I just wanted to let it out, let it go, yeah, and let it snow. So I started Instagram, and I was like, okay. So on Instagram, I just showed the good, bad, and the ugly side of real estate, like really just everything that it takes. What you go through on a day-to-day basis to make it. And sometimes you put up with people for 90 days, and you never make a commission, you never see a penny.
Yep.
And so I showed that, and because I showed the good, bad, and the ugly, and the agents started like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. So they started following me. So more and more agents started following me. So now it's over 40-some thousand. Most of them, probably 90% are agents. And that's it. So that's how the madness.
And how long has it taken you to grow it to this size? Your Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah. So it's 2003. Where are we? 27 years.
Yep.
Yeah. So
but
it's
you're
consistent. Success 7 times 365.
But you're consistent too.
Yeah.
You didn't half-ass it. You didn't be like, I'm going to post today and then not for 2 or 3 days. You're like day in, day out.
Yeah. But I enjoy it though. They say that if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. I don't.
Yeah.
Every time I want to pinch myself and be like, oh my gosh, you're paying me for this?
Right.
Insane. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it took off from there, because now you have Gogo's boot camp and you do all this training and you go and speak and you help so many people, because you did it all on like a $1 budget.
I was like, I can figure this out. There has to be a free way.
Right. Because so many people hear what you heard, where it costs thousands of dollars to go and buy leads. You're not going to be able to make it if you don't. Really? Well, you did,
Yeah, I've never bought a lead in my 7 years of career. I never got a Zillow lead or anything like that. All my leads came organically from social media. But I guess I also, as you said, I'm consistent. I don't allow people to forget what I do. So it's like if you post 17 times a day, I'm just kidding.
But it's like a reality show, because people are tuned into you.
Yeah. So it's like, when people are like on the couch, it's when I open, just kind of trying to get to the end of Instagram. All I need is to show up in there. It's when I show up in there, it's a quick image in their brain. Oh, that's Gogo chick. That she's a realtor. She's hustling. That's all I need them to do. No. Like that Gogo. Like I can go to the grocery store without people are like, I know you. You're the Gogo chick. You sell real estate. That's all I need to know.
Yep.
Now what did I accomplish? They know my name and they know what I do.
Yep.
And that's all I need them to know. So when they need real estate, they're gonna call that Gogo chick.
That's right. Yes. So with your Gogo's bootcamp, when did that come around? Because not everybody may know about that.
So that started spring of last year. So 2019 spring.
Tell everybody about that.
So that came about because, just like we are having this conversation, I started like making a name for myself, and I would get messages all the time. How did you create that video? How did you da-da-da-da? How did you do that? Why do you do that? And then I would answer the same question multiple times a day, over and over again. And I love this industry. You see me, I personally DM everybody, respond to everybody, but I was getting to the point where I was like, I can't. I'm going to lose my sanity. I don't even remember. Did I already tell you that? Like, I asked the question 5 times. Were you one of them? Am I repeating myself? So instead of answering the same questions over and over again, and also think about it, in that 5 minutes that I answer that question, I am limited to change only that one person's life.
Yep.
Now, if I record myself and let everybody hear that video, now how many agents' lives was I able to change with that one video?
Yep.
So I said, okay, instead of me monologuing all day individually to each of these agents, I'm going to record myself. And then say, go to this video and watch it. Yep. And that's how it started. So originally it actually started for my team, what we call Team Gogo. And because again, I didn't want to, when agents were joining one by one, I wanted to train them and to make sure they know everything they need to know. But I couldn't do it individually. There's 170 of them and one of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, I can't
yeah.
do the same training over and over again. So that's how it started originally,
Mhm.
with the idea of like multiplying myself. And then now it's for sale too.
And you know what? Now looking back on it, and I'm sure you have, who would have known that here we are in 2020, April of 2020, and there's this coronavirus and everyone's trapped inside. And so people are turning to social media for everything just about, and you have a name for yourself there. You're already established when so many other people have not established. They haven't done anything. Who would have known that you would have already done all of this? You have your own platform, basically, you know?
Yeah. And it wasn't with the idea of like, oh, I'm going to be a social media
No.
real estate. Like, it's not how it started. Never even crossed my mind.
Mm-mm.
It became out of necessity. You know, I had to figure it out because I'm also the sorest loser. So if I start anything, and very early on, I realized 80% of the agents give up in the first year. In the second year, the second round of 80% gives up.
Oh, yeah.
There is really a very small amount that stick it out in this industry. Yep. And even the ones that stick it out, the average agent does 1 to 2 transactions a year.
Yep. Did you know that 80% of the real estate agents nationwide have never sold a home? Isn't that a scary statistic?
That is scary.
80%.
The top 20% of the top 20% of the agents do 80% of the business.
Yes.
The rest of them do. I think there's 2.4 million realtors in the country, something like that. 600,000 hasn't sold a single transaction last year.
Isn't that crazy?
And then 60% of them sold 1.
Yep.
That's insane.
It is, and there's no excuse for it because there's people like you offering training all day long, you know, on a budget.
They won't take it. And I think that's the difference between successful people and not successful people, is that there was no freaking way, as long as I am breathing, then I would fail at this.
No.
And if I fail at anything, it's not because I didn't freaking try. I gave it all I got. I may not have the brain capacity for it. I may not have the skills for it. Then it takes, but at least if I know if I failed at it, then I gave it all I got. And I was the same way in real estate. I was like, I am not about to be that freaking statistics. I don't care that I don't speak English. I don't care that I don't have money. I don't care that I don't have the experience or the sphere of influence or the whatever it takes, or the ability to cold call.
That's right.
Or door knock, because I'm also not willing to do that. I'm not getting chewed by someone's dog. But, yeah, and so I was like, I'm not going to lose. I'm going to figure it out. And that's how it started. And then truly enjoyed it. I enjoy social media. It's not work for me.
No.
And
then so look at you. It's like you hear excuses all the time from people as to why they're not successful, why they're not able to pay their bills. You had pretty much everything going against you. Like you said, you couldn't even speak the language. You know, you didn't know anybody. You had no money. You didn't have anyone you could lean on. You chose to work for it. You found a way. You always have to seek a way, find a way.
And the first $1 million listing referral, it was referred to me by an agent. And I go to the interview and they were upfront with me and they said, hey, we're interviewing with a lot of agents. Why should we use you? Granted, at that time I was like 20 something, younger, like 30 years younger. So clearly I didn't have the experience. Some of them had more experience than I had years to my name.
Right.
You know, life to my name. And I was upfront with them. I said, because I'm brand new, because I will hustle like no one else. I said, for that guy over there that has, you know, the most experience in town and sells 200 homes a year, you're just a number. You're number 157. For me, you are the one.
Right.
The
all.
Yeah. And I sold that listing in 3.5 hours.
I love it.
Listed it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 6:37ish in the afternoon, we had an offer on the driveway, and my sellers were just amazed. That was the quickest, the largest commission I've ever made. It was cash, so we closed.
Oh, nice.
It was just, and then they called me the $1 million baby. So for us, $1 million, I don't know your prices in your neck of the woods, but for us, $1 million properties are really rare.
I bet.
We can get gated community here above 400,000. So it's not, you know, being 1.2 million, it was a big deal.
It was a big deal for sure. That's awesome. And it's a good check too.
Yeah. And you know what I mean? So what I guess my point of this conversation is just be honest. So when you decide to do social media or you decide to go for that $1 million listing and you are the baby, then you say, this is what I can do. This is what I have that they don't. Yep. I have the hunger. The guy made 200 commissions this year. He doesn't need yours. You just one of the 200. For me, this is going to feed my family for 6 months.
Boom. That's right. And so then when you've grown your business like you have, of course, you're with EXP now and you're growing like crazy there. I'm sure when you switched over to EXP, you had no idea it was going to grow to the size that you've grown it already too. Share a little bit about that.
I have crazy too. I have crazy dreams. Like I always do, but I follow gut feeling on it. Mm-hmm. So when I joined, I told Kurt, I said, I'm gonna bring 100 in no time. And they were like, sure. Adorable. We'll help you. We'll help you. Yeah, if you want 100, we'll do 100. But they, in the back of their mind, they were like, that's never gonna happen.
She's crazy.
She's crazy. But again, I share everything on social media. So the first probably 20 agents reached out to me when they found out I switched. They were like, why did you switch? So I told them. I told them why I switched. I told them the cap, the cut, the ability to get my cap back.
Yep.
Stocks, which I don't have right now. They were like, well, the stocks are penny stocks. I'm like, well, I have a penny that you don't.
Exactly. And what if it goes into this
at whatever brokerage you are at? You don't have any. So even if it's a penny, 30 years from now, when I have thousands of them, I have thousands of pennies that you don't.
So true.
So that's stocks. And then I was like, revenue share. I already had a taste of profit share, but I never could trace back of like, how did I get that $32? They could never really explain it, where it came from, like who closed and at which office and what was the true profit and how much of that you made. So that really bothered me. I'm a numbers person.
Yeah.
Like because I speak multiple languages, there's a delay in my brain. I still think Hungarian, 3 seconds later, the words come out in English. But with numbers, I don't have to think about it. I look at them and I'm like, that makes perfect sense. I don't have to translate it. Within a second, I know exactly what it means. And they weren't able to show that with profit share. And that really bothered me. Like, you never knew. There was no calculation. There was no dashboard to log in and see how much money you're going to get. You got a paper checking in on, every 30 days. And I don't like that. I need to know and I need to understand where things come from, because that's the only way that you can adjust your effort towards it to grow that number.
Correct.
So you understand where that number is coming from and how it was calculated and what I did in order to get that $32. In order for me to turn that 32 into 90 and that 90 into 180, I need to double up on my effort.
Right.
What did I do? How did I get that 32?
Yep.
So if I don't understand it, if there's no reason of like, this is how we got to this number, then there's nothing I can do on my end to be able to grow that number.
No.
And I was like, that needs to change. And so that was my third reason, was revenue share. And that's how it started. I just let the world know I made the switch. And then they were like, what? And they switched with me.
And how long have you been with EXP now?
October of 2018.
That's the same time I did. I thought we were on the same one.
Really?
Yes, because remember we were at conference for the first time together. That's where we met.
Well, I didn't know it was your first time.
Yes. Yeah, I literally was like brand new.
Cleveland, wasn't it? Cleveland? Somewhere in Ohio. Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. And it was like everyone there was like new. I knew Michael and Jay and a couple of people. That was it. It was like all new faces. It was overwhelming.
I really didn't know anyone. I just got in the car and I was like, well, that's close to me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to drive and get to know everyone.
So in this time, how much have you managed to grow your business?
So I was able to bring 70-some agents personally to the company.
Okay.
And they brought their friends. And now we are over 150.
Mm-hmm. And you're spread out across the United States, correct?
Yeah. And
locally.
And a couple of in Canada.
I love that. Yeah. And so you have a huge local presence too, don't you?
Yeah, we have 40-some agents, local in Michigan.
Yeah.
But Michigan is big, just like, not as big as Texas, but it's a big state. So we cover a big chunk of the state. But yeah, I guess 40-some are here in Michigan.
So with this coronavirus, I know you guys still have shelter in place there, don't you?
And we are not essential.
Wow. So without social media, no one even knows you exist.
Yeah, no. If you don't have social media, you don't exist, really.
No, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
wow.
So we can't do anything, really. We're not allowed to do inspections, open houses, no showing houses, not even listing how, like I can go out when I have a listing to measure it or see it or do a listing, and none of that. Like, we are not allowed to leave our houses pretty much.
Do you know when that date will come, when you'll be able to go back to business?
So as of now, it's extended until May 15th. And I hope that's the last day.
Wow. Here in Texas, things are opening up. Like it was announced yesterday, even more is opening up. Some gyms are opening up. It's like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, the energy is insane. It's awesome. So I can't imagine what it's like for you there.
And then it's cold. And then it's
Yeah.
until like 3 days ago. So we were literally stuck inside. Like last Sunday, we got a cute little like 50-degree weather. We were outside the garden. We got poison ivy, so there's proof. And then we were stuck inside until Friday. It literally snowed all week.
That would be miserable.
It was. I'm like, I am, as much as I'm like a go, for me to stay home. Like I'm a homebody after a busy day. Like
Right.
I love coming home after a busy day.
Yeah.
But we've been home for like what, freaking 50 days now?
Yeah.
Home.
I feel so bad for you.
Shopping 2 times.
I feel so bad for you. I think the silver lining, though, is that you have this huge presence on social media. And I'm hoping that agents are learning from you, because there's so many people glued to their phones right now because they're like you. They're at home and they're stuck at home. And I'd rather they watch you and learn from you than some crap on TV. You know, at least expand your brain.
I hope they use this downtime, though. But what I see on social media, a lot of people just complaining and waiting for everything to open up. I'm like, no. Look at it this way. God just cleared off your schedule so you can use this time to do the things you never had time to do when you were busy selling real estate.
Yep.
So I literally started my podcast. I always wanted to have a podcast, sorry, but never had the time. So I started that. Yep. I get courses. I'm in every live that you can see, like everything that I don't know, I'm there to learn. I don't know everything. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know.
That's right. So
it's like you should use this time. I mean, knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you become an expert.
Yes. 10,000 hours is what it takes to become an expert.
Yeah.
You
know, as much as I don't like to spend money, how many events have you seen me at? Just like you are at every event, I'm at every event as well. So that costs money. You have to pay a couple $100 to sign up. Then you have to pay for your airplane ticket. You have to share, you have to get a hotel room. Sometimes you share a hotel room.
Yep.
Things like that. But it is costing money. Nobody.
We were supposed to be together last weekend. Did you look at the date?
In Orlando. We were.
I know.
In condo.
I know. When we got the cancellation notice, I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
I know. I
was so mad.
Yeah.
We had so much fun. Like, I look forward to those times. And we're like, when are we going to be together again? This sucks.
Yeah, I'm never going to go anywhere. I mean, as soon as they open the airports, I'm going somewhere. I don't care. I'm going somewhere.
So for your team, locally and your expanded team, what are you telling them that they need to be focusing on next 30 days, especially if they're still trapped at home? What are you telling them they need to be doing?
So, I'm so sorry. If they are newer agents, I want everybody to go to the Excel program. So definitely pushing that one for everybody. We just came out with the new Gogo's Bootcamp. It's over, probably 50 hours of video training.
Yep.
So I am pushing them to go through all of that. Then a part that I think is a very important part of our business, but nobody ever makes the time for it, is reviews and feedback. Because when you are busy out there hustling and selling, you're not sending your links for your clients to, hey, would you please leave me a Zillow review? Would you please leave me a Google My Business review? Would you please leave me a Facebook review? Like, you need those things, because especially the biggest market of buyers and sellers soon are going to be the millennials. The millennial is going to Google you. They're not going to want to have a phone consultation. They don't want to make eye contact. They want instant gratification. They're going to Google you. If you don't exist on Google or you don't have 5-star reviews, they're moving on to the next one. And it's very important to get that done. So I've been telling them, if they are a seasoned agent, I said, go make sure that your Zillow professional profile is set up. Your Realtor.com professional profile is set up. Make sure that everything, the photos, the email addresses, the website, everything is the same on all of those sites. Make sure your Google My Business is set up. Make sure my Facebook business page is set up where people can leave reviews. Now, after everything is set up and it's unison, the same photo, same email address, same website, everything is the same, then you're going to go and get your review links. You're going to do a draft email and a draft text message, and you are going to say, hey, I love working with you. I had a 5-star experience. Thank you so much for choosing Gogo's Real Estate Team. If you would please give us 5 minutes of your time and leave us a review, because this is how we are going to do continuously to feed our children is by word of mouth and by a review. And I had a 5-star experience working with you. I hope you had the same.
I love that. A 5-star experience. You guys hear that? Use that.
Because I'm putting it into their brain of what I'm expecting back.
Yeah.
Without saying, I hope you leave a 5-star review.
Right. But that's awesome. I love that.
And thankfully, I'm pretty much 5-star everywhere. There's a 4.9 on Zillow. I think one lady left me a 1-star review. I was the listing agent. She had her own buyer's agent. She was on the buy side. We never talked. I don't even know who she was until at the closing table I was getting a review. And I'm like, who is this? My seller's next to me. She's very happy. She left a video testimonial. And I was like getting the 1-stars coming in from Google, from Facebook, from everything. I was like, what is going on? So I had to call the title company because we had split closings, which should have told me why we had split closing right there. So I called the title company because by that time all the files were taken away and I didn't even see who the buyer was. I said, hey, who's the buyer's initial? Is it AB? And her name started with an A and last name started with a B. I'm like, that's how I figured out. It's the buyer that's leaving me all of these reviews. So I didn't take it down. I could have reached out to Zillow and all of them that she was not my client. I cannot control how the other agent's experience was. Yeah. But I put it up there just for proof. And I called her out on it. And I said, you are the buyer on 123 Main Street. I had the sellers. I am the listing agent. We never talked. I am so sorry you had your own agent. I am so sorry you didn't have a happy experience. My seller left me a 5-star review. They also left me a video testimonial of their experience working with me. So I'm so sorry you didn't have the same. So I left it up there. That's the reason why it's 4.9%. Pretty much everybody else had thankfully a 5-star.
That's awesome.
So I think that's very important. So if you're a brand new agent, just go through those sites and make sure everything is set up. So then when you are busy, you have those links already to send it to your clients after closing. And then if you're a seasoned agent, if you didn't have the time, because many of us did many transactions, but you didn't have the time, you didn't take the time because you were busy going for after the next commission, to go back. And this is the time to print out your closings from 2019, create that draft email, send it over to everybody, ask them very nicely. They're home. They have all the time on freaking earth.
Oh, yes.
And to leave you a review. Now, if you were really good and you did all of this already, then you can reach out to them and ask them for a video review. So ask them to send you a selfie style, just a quick 2-minute video of how they enjoyed working with you. Ask them if that's okay to have it embedded into your website. So then just plug it in there. Of course, post it all over social media so the world can see. But just having video testimonials, I think it's very important. It's way more reassuring to people that it's not a stranger who typed it up on the other end of the internet.
Right.
So I think this time is definitely for getting your business, the parts of your business that you never have the time for, and also to get the education for yourself that you always wanted to do and just never had the time for it.
I love it. You guys need to pay attention to that and listen to what she's saying. It makes such sense. Use your time wisely. Choose what you're doing. Hey, Gogo, tell everybody where they can find you or Gogo's Bootcamp or how they can get any more information about you, please.
Oh, awesome. So Gogo's Real Estate on Instagram or Facebook, or if you just Google Gogo's Real Estate, that's me. My name is Gogo Becky. You can also find me that way. But on Instagram is the quickest way. So if you need a quick DM, that's the fastest that I'm going to be responding on Gogo's Real Estate. And then the bootcamp is gogosbootcamp.com. Now, because of COVID, we used to have an upfront cost that was pretty chunky. It was about $1,000 upfront. But now we have a 4-payment plan.
Nice.
So we broke it down because of COVID and everybody's having a hard time. We broke it down to 4 small payments. I think it's $247 4 times, and that gives everyone lifetime access. So
that's so awesome.
Because things change with social media. Like work last year, this doesn't work anymore. So I had to come out with the Gogo's Bootcamp 2.0 to add on or change the things that doesn't apply anymore, doesn't work anymore, that it worked in 2018 and 19. So because things change and the algorithm changes and all that, the apps that I use change, the filters, everything that I do and how we generate leads and how you run ads and all of those things. Facebook changes the rules about every 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, yes. So it's good that you keep updating it.
Yeah, so we're constantly updating that. We also have a Facebook group that comes along with it. So once a month, we do live training. And I say we because my digital marketer, Sammy, and I built the course together. So I teach the organic side. He teaches the how to do it with ads and money.
Yep.
So because as we were saying, I try to do everything for free.
And it's amazing. It's an awesome training.
Thank you.
I haven't. It's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh gosh, thank you so much for being a student.
Yes.
And so he just came out with finesse. So finesse side of Gogo's bootcamp is the ads side of how to run Facebook ads, how to create your ads manager account and chat bots and auto drip emails and lead generation pretty much with ads.
Yes.
That the new one just came out. It's over 100 videos just for Facebook ads and how to run those. How to get $1 seller leads. If your average commission is $7,000 and it costing you $1 to gain that lead, you know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Like, the course should pay for itself in one transaction. It will make you 5 times the return if you only get one transaction out of it.
Yep. You just have to do the work.
That's why I can't guarantee anything, because I don't know what kind of work ethic you have, what kind of hustle you're going to put into it. You're not going to put it one time and then the leads are just coming in. Doesn't work like that.
No.
Consistency is key. So
every day.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Gogo. We'll let everyone get on with their day. I'm so happy that you're here. You guys are going to get out of your house eventually. You will. I can't stay forever.
I am so ready. Oh, something else. If somebody's having a bad day, I'm going to make it better. You ready?
That's the craziest thing in the world.
It's not that bad, is it? Your day just got better.
That's just crazy that you can do that. I love it. Had to end on that note. Thank you, Gogo, for being here. You guys make sure to reach out to Gogo. Her boot camp is fantastic. There's no reason in the world you guys can't be creating your own leads. She's got it all laid out for you right there. So reach out to her. Thanks, Gogo.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Good.